Hi everybody, Steve here on Mr. Chuffy84. Welcome back. How are you doing? Hope everyone's alright. Hope you're having a good week so far. It is Thursday today, the 27th of February. I was just trying to remember what the date was. And as promised, I'm back today to do the next review for the second batch of free 7-inch singles that I got from my local record store, which is Head Records in Leamington Spa, and so I got those about a couple of weeks ago. I've listened through to all of them, so I have them here, and it's time to review them. So let's get them out of the bag. As I was saying before, when I got that, I just bought a few singles. I actually bought a few 7-inch singles, and they gave me a bag of what happened to be 12 singles free, because as I was saying before, Head Records were trying to get rid of their collection of 7-inch singles, for which they have now been able to do. At least the bags of free singles have now all gone. I asked about it today because I was in Head Records just earlier this afternoon, and they confirmed that they've now been able to get rid of them all, which is fantastic. Well, I'm sorry if you were hoping to get the opportunity to try that yourselves and you haven't got some freebies, but unfortunately they have now all gone. Although the ones which I'm not going to hang on to, for whatever reason, there is a friend of mine who has expressed interest, so I'm going to let him have let him have the first go at checking these out before he passes them on to whoever else afterwards. Okay, so 12 7-inch singles from the bag. These you may remember from a couple of videos ago, so let's get straight down to it. Firstly, Arpeggio, Love and Desire, from 1978. Part one on the A side, part 2 on the B side. Part 1 was probably enough for me. It is as disco as you can possibly get. So 1978, that equals disco, and this is, well, it is pure disco. It's the most disco sounding song I've heard in ages. I personally was not overly keen on it, I have to be honest with you. The syndromes that you often hear in 70s disco music, the ones that go bo bo bo, or that kind of sound. You can imagine dancers on roller skates, in the discotheques. You know what I mean? It's that kind of feel. It was a bit too much for me having two parts of it, but there you go. So, yeah, not overly keen on that one. Arpeggio, never heard of them before. They were a duo, male and female. Yeah, so there we go. Now then, next one. This is in alphabetical order by artist, by the way, artist or band. The next one, this one, Who Shot JR? The novelty single by Gary Burbank with Bam McNally. And on the B side is an instrumental track called Honkin' by Tennessee Valley Authority. That's a good little instrumental. I quite enjoyed that. Who Shot JR? Now that was fun. That was fun. It's a novelty record. Of course, every Dallas fan, I'm sure, has got a copy of this in their collection. It's a novelty song about, and of course it was at the time, we got 1980. It was the question on everybody's minds when Dallas was on the air, and of course the big question, who shot JR? And I gave this a spin on the hospital radio last week. Hadn't heard it before in my life, and I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Not enough for me to hang on to it, but it was good fun. Obviously, all of these songs you can hear on YouTube, of course. They're online, but it's always good to hear them on the actual vinyl itself. So that was fun. It was funny. It was very, very amusing. Very, very funny. Well worth a listen. Now we come to number 3, Fiction Factory. Let me come across that. Feels Like Heaven. Now, I didn't recognise the title at first. I didn't know the band. Then I heard the song again, gave it a spin on the hospital radio. I've now since ordered some little adapters, which you can get on Amazon. I don't want to sort of plug anything or fruit or advertise anything, but you can get these little adapters for ones like this with the big holes in the middle. You can get those very, very cheaply online. Amazon is where I got those, nice and cheap. Anyway, Feels Like Heaven. I recognise the song because I remember hearing it on the radio. It's a really good song. A friend of mine told me that I would like it, and I sure did. It was a really, really good song. It's a lovely song, really, really good song from 1983. Very, very, very impressed with that song. The B-side, Everyone But You, wasn't too bad. It was okay, but the A-side, Feels Like Heaven, definitely that's fantastic. Number 4, John and Vangelis. I'll Find My Way Home and Back to School is on the B-side. Both of these tracks come from their album The Friends of Mr. Cairo from 1981. John, in case you've never heard of, well, you may well have heard of Vangelis, because Vangelis is a pianist, keyboardist, who famously has written many film scores, but the most famous of which, or one of the most famous, is Chariots of Fire. While in the late 70s and early 80s, he teamed up with John Anderson. So the John of John and Vangelis is John Anderson from the group Yes, the prog group Yes. Now, I'll Find My Way Home. Again, I was not overly huge on this one. Not hugely keen on this one. Few reasons for it. The song is okay. It's all right. Nothing wrong with it. John Anderson as a singer, not overly keen. Not overly keen on his voice. And Vangelis, his keyboard playing in the production and his keyboard playing, it's a bit overpowering on this track. A little bit too much. It just needed his parts, his instrumental bits, his keyboard parts, whatever, just needed bringing down a bit. It was just a bit too overpowering. For this song, because it is a ballad, and it was just a bit too much. It was a bit too much. But John Anderson's vocals, I have to admit, not overly keen. So I'll Find My Way Home. It was an interesting listen. I'd never heard of it before. Heard of John and Vangelis as an act, but yeah, not overly struck on that one. Next one, moving on. Now this was a very odd one. Tom Mayer. Wedding Bells is the A-side and Remember Me is the B-side. Now this is a country. This is country. What looks like an independent recording. It's not a big label. Star Records. It is. It's. I say this. I do like a bit of country. I'm not the biggest country music fan in the world. I do like a bit of country though. This was okay, and if anything, I actually preferred the B-side. Remember Me. Tom Mayer, never heard of him before. He has a good voice, a really good singing voice. So well worth it. I'm not sure if this is on YouTube or not, but it's well worth having a listen to. Certainly Remember Me more than Wedding Bells. Wedding Bells as the A-side was alright, but Remember Me most certainly was okay. It was Remember Me was good. The next one is Van McCoy, Change with the Times, from his album called The Disco Kid. Now this, so again, very disco, quite well worn actually. So this A-side was really well used, very, very well played. This is a disco track I preferred so much more than Love and Desire. Didn't care much for Love and Desire. This was much better. Van McCoy, never heard of it before. Change with the Times, very, very good. I enjoyed that. It's a little too well worn, so I'm not going to hang on to it, sadly. But it is a good track. Check it out. It is good. The B-side's Good Night Baby. Now that is the perfect last number of the night at the disco. Smooch up to your loved one, have a nice smooth close dance as the last dance of the evening. Good Night Baby is ideal for that, absolutely ideal. So I enjoyed that. I did enjoy it, not enough for me to hang on to, but it was a good a good listen. I enjoyed that. Next we go on to Don McLean, who I'm not a big fan of, I have to say. Not keen on American Pie. No matter how hard I try, I'm just not keen on it. But this is his cover of Roy Orbison's Crying. Good song, as you will probably know if you know the Roy Orbison original well. And Don McLean's version is okay. It's fine. It's well recorded. Not a huge fan on Don McLean's voice, but it's okay. What I do like about the single is I do love the old EMI label for both the singles and the albums. I always liked that EMI design with the red or the blue. I'm never sure what the difference was, but the red was certainly the most popular one and most well used one. And the B-side is his take on the first book of the Bible, Genesis, in brackets, in the beginning. It's another Don McLean epic of about 6 minutes. Too long, outstays its welcome. It's a nice effort, obviously, to tell the story of the biblical story of the beginning. But yeah, you know, if you like Don McLean, it's fine. But I'm personally not for me. But it was all right. The next one, The Moments, Dolly My Love. You may remember I said you got Dolly My Love on the A side, and there's more Dolly on the B side. That's because it's the instrumental version of Dolly My Love. Again, 1975, sort of Philly soul kind of sound, and it was good. It was really, really decent. It was a nice song. It's I thought it was one of the best of the bunch here. I enjoyed that. Worth checking out online. I can't keep all of these singles because I haven't got room for them. I haven't got room for them all. I'm only keeping just certain ones, really special ones, really ones I really do want to hang on to. This one, maybe not, but that doesn't mean that it's not good, because for some of these I'm not hanging on to. It's not because I didn't like them. I did like them, but I don't really wish to keep them in my collection. I'll let someone else have a little listen to them, and this is one of them. But The Moments, never heard them before. They were a trio, vocal trio from the 1970s, Philly soul sound, Dolly My Love, worth checking out on YouTube. Really good song, really nice. Really, yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed that. Then we come to the next one, which is an EP, played at the slower speed of 33 RPM, or 33 and a third RPM to be more specific, which is an album speed. 4 tracks. This is by a group called The Pearsons, which are more of a sort of country folk group. Difficult to categorise them, but 4 songs. Silver Wings, Hanging On. 2 of these songs, I should say, Silver Wings and Hanging On, are both Merle Haggard songs. Merle obviously was a country artist. Put Your Hand in the Hand, which is spiritual, and You Just Tell Me When, which I think is an original by the group. A nice listen, a pleasant listen. Nothing wrong with these guys at all. Well worth a listen. Have a look if you can find them online. Check them out. That was nice. 3 more to go. Now Roxy Music. We're in more familiar territory here. Virginia Plain, one of their first, if not their first, big hit single from the early 1970s. This is when Brian Eno was in the band. Not the biggest Brian Ferry fan or Roxy Music fan, although I do like sort of the later Roxy Music material, like Avalon, More Than This, which obviously both from the Avalon album. Those songs I do like. I think they are good. The earlier stuff is okay. It's fine. Virginia Plain is quite fun, and Pajama Rama is on the back. This was actually a re-release of Virginia Plain. Pajama Rama was another A-side from 1973. So there we go. So Pajama Rama was alright, it was fine. Virginia Plain, I did know because I'd heard it before. So it was fine. 2 more to go. Walk Away, Joyce Sims from 1988. Never heard it before. It was okay. It's fine. Sort of late 80s sort of disco sort of sound of that time, of the 80s. Sort of disco, sort of like I can't categorise it very, very well. But anyway, Joyce Sims. If you know Joyce Sims, you know what I'm talking about. So Walk Away, the hip hop dub is on the B-side of that same song, and it was alright. Then we come to Cheese and More Cheese for the very last one. Mr. David Soul, the legend that is from Starsky and Hutch. It sure brings out the love in your eyes. Yeah, it does. That's on the A side. And the B side is a song called A Friend of Mine. It was cheesy as anything. David Soul, not a bad singer. Good actor, not a bad singer at all. This wasn't his biggest hit. In fact, these two songs were both featured in a film that he did called The Stick-Up from the late 1970s. Apparently it was absolutely awful. It was a terrible film. And the songs were, for me, not that much better either. I've not seen the film, but anyway. So yeah, it was cheesy. Okay, so of the 12, I've decided I'm going to hang on to only one of them, and that's not because the other 11 weren't any good. There were some which I didn't like, sure, but the others were good, but not to hold on to in my collection. The one that I would like to hang on to for my collection, I think I should definitely keep something from this batch, and the one that I've gone with is Fiction Factory, Feels Like Heaven, and thanks to my friend for recommending that one to me as well. So enjoyed that. So of the two sets of freebies, the ones that I'm going to hang on to then are as follows. Side Saddle by Russ Conway, and that's because it's an old tune, sure, but it's one that I remember from childhood, so it brings back a few memories. Silver Convention. Ooh, hang on. Yeah. Everybody's Talking About Love. The reason for that is because of the B-side. Thank you, Mr. DJ. I'm going to use that for a radio show I'm going to record at some point for the hospital radio station. So that'll be ideal for that. So enjoy that. This one, Street Boy, you may remember from before, Not Fade Away. The cover of the Buddy Holly tune, and Rip It Up on the B-side, another rock and roller. I enjoyed this. I really did enjoy it. It was something different. I mean, the songs were familiar, but I'd never heard of these guys, and it was good. I actually enjoyed that very, very much. So I am going to hang on to that one for the time being. And then the other one, because it was quite cool as a film fan, and it was well done. It was well put together, and that was As Time Goes By from Casablanca. So the mix of the song that's taken from the film. Dooley Wilson, the gentleman who plays Sam, plays the piano in the film. So the song As Time Goes By, and then the classic lines of the film spoken by Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall are interweave, if that's the right word, interwoven with the song. So it was quite cool. I enjoyed that. So as a film fan, well, I'm going to hang on to that. And then Fiction Factory, Feels Like Heaven. So there we are. So those were the freebies. I'm now going to move on. I was hoping to get a third and final set to do a review of, but as I've already mentioned, it's the freebies are all gone. So there we go. But I hope that you enjoyed looking through those. Please do check them out on YouTube if you haven't heard them before. Tell me what you think of them. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Just let me know, and feel free to comment below. Tell me which ones you like and which ones you didn't. Now, as promised as well, I'm also going to show you a few. Oh well, I've got a few here. A few singles, but it won't be too long about it. From my own collection, so ones which are really good. Some the highlights of my collection. So I won't dwell on these. I won't give a review on these. I'll just show you them. So this is from my own personal collection. America, A Horse with No Name. Who remembers that from 1971? Sandman on the B-side. America fans will know that one. And Everyone I Meet Is from California. 3 great songs on this single. Classic song from 1971. I do like, of the crooners, of the great crooners, I've always enjoyed the voice of Mr. Tony Bennett, who's now well in his 90s and still going strong. I Left My Heart in San Francisco, of course, is his signature song, and still sounding good. As a drummer, I admire listening to drummers, and one of whom, of course, one of the most popular, Mr. Phil Collins, and one of his most famous songs, "In the Air Tonight," with the big drum break about halfway through the song leading into the final chorus. This particular copy is the 1988 remix, which is good. I mean, you can't beat the original from 1981, but this is the remix, so that's alright. One of my favourite bands, Crowded House, from Australia, and this is a single called "Don't Stop Now." This is from an album which I highly recommend, Time on Earth. This is that was an album that came out in 2006, I think it was, when they reformed after the death of their original drummer Paul Hester. The songs on that album, on Time on Earth, are wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and "Don't Stop Now" is from that album. So it's nice to get that one brand new when it came out. I do like a bit of ELO as well. Electric Light Orchestra, "Sweet Talking Woman." Yes, "Sweet Talking Woman." Don't know why I almost didn't say that properly there. And this is from their Out of the Blue album. The reason why I like it, I do get a kick out of coloured vinyl, I must say. And there you go. On purple vinyl, "Sweet Talking Woman" by ELO. Do like a bit of coloured vinyl, so that's why I'm glad with that one. Now this is an obscure one, really obscure. I got this. This is one of my first singles, I think. I don't know where the heck I got it from. Got it from a second-hand store somewhere when I was a boy, and I've loved it ever since. And I played this the other day, first time I'd heard it in years. Have you guys ever heard of these guys, Face to Face? This is a single called "Tell Me Why," which came out in 1986 from their album called Confrontation. They were a band that didn't last very, very long. They only did a couple of albums, I think. Confrontation was their first album, I believe. Tell Me Why is the opening track from that album, and the lead single, I think. My goodness, this song rocks. It really rocks. Check it out on YouTube. I know I've shared it with my friends already on Facebook, but check it out. It is awesome. I've never found the album in all my years. I've been looking for the album, never found it. It will come up somewhere in a record fair or a charity shop or a second-hand store or whatever. I'll find it. But check that out. That is awesome. Absolutely brilliant. Another band which I admire is an 80s band called Level 42. I'm sure you guys have heard of them. And this was the song, the first Level 42 song of theirs, which I heard. One of their biggest songs as well, "Something About You" from 1985. Really good song. Really love the song. This is when they were at their biggest, really, at their pinnacle in the mainstream. They were a jazz funk outfit to start with, and then they became more mainstream towards the mid to late 80s. Something About You. It's a great track. Huey Lewis and the News, who are just bringing out a new album actually called Weather. And Huey Lewis is very sadly, he's been diagnosed with a hearing condition. Very, very sadly. I've always loved the music of Huey Lewis and the News. It was Back to the Future that first got me into them because of The Power of Love and Back in Time. Great songs, and their music very much was the signature sound of the first Back to the Future film. And this is a single called, it's an EP actually, but it's Heart and Soul is the lead track. Excellent track. A really good driving, rocking track. Really, one of my favourite Huey Lewis and the News songs. Now, I was in a car boot sale a little while ago. Oh no, I didn't say a little while ago. It was about a few years ago. I was in a car boot sale, doing a car boot sale with my sister, and I just had a look around while we were there. And the car next door to us, they were selling a few singles, and they had got a batch of Queen singles in great condition, which they were just selling for about £3 for the set. Can't go wrong with that. Absolutely brilliant, and in nice little covers as well, including one of the biggest double A sides of all time. We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. Really pleased with that. In great condition. There you go. Just to prove that, if you can see that, there you go. And along with that, the other single from the News of the World album, which is Spread Your Wings. I know you can't see the title on there because it's not on the title, and it is on the back there. Spread Your Wings. There you go. Moving on to two other singles for this time from the Jazz album. Again, that was in this sort of set that I got on the in the car boot sale. Bicycle Race and Fat Bottom Girls, another double A side from the Jazz album, and there we go. That's the back there. And one of Queen's most popular songs gets played on the radio all the time, as well as Bohemian Rhapsody and We Will Rock You and Radio Gaga is this one, Don't Stop Me Now. So those came in that set there. Oh, and the B-side is In Only 7 Days, which is a lovely John Deacon song, also from the Jazz album. So I got those for £3, I think, for that set, which is amazing, absolutely amazing stuff. And the other Queen singles, also in the collection I've got, very, very pleased with. Crazy Little Thing Called Love, brilliant single, as you know, if you know Queen well. Flash, absolutely love the music from Flash Gordon. The film is okay, is fine, but their music for Flash was superb for Flash Gordon. And A Kind of Magic from the first Highlander film. Again, their music really dominated that first film. Really good. Excellent stuff. Okay, just a few more to share with you before I sign off. Thank you for staying with me. I know it's been a while, but thank you. I really do appreciate it. I just thought I did say I would do this in one video. So, Split Ends. This is pre-Crowded House. So Neil Finn, Tim Finn, who were in Crowded House. This was the band that they were in before Crowded House. History Never Repeats. Great song from the early 1980s. And this is quite an unusual single because I don't know if this will come out on here. Oh, there we go. You might be able to see that. This is a special laser etched disc. Look at that. If you're thinking to yourself, my word, does that actually play on a turntable? The answer is yes, it does. It's absolutely fine. I don't know exactly. I mean, it's just what is on here is just musical notes, I think. But there you go. Very nice, isn't it? I like that. Plays really, really well. So happy with that. Coloured vinyl, the Squeeze. I love the songs of Squeeze, the band Squeeze, Glenn Tilbrook, Chris Difford, the Squeeze. And they brought out some of their singles on coloured vinyl back in the day. Up the Junction on purple vinyl. Really nice. Big radio song, as is Cool for Cats. Love that song. And that was on pink vinyl. Yes, very funky. And then, so it's all from the late 70s, from their Cool for Cats album, as is this one. Slap and Tickle, you can probably see at the bottom there. This one on red vinyl. Yeah, and all still play very, very nicely. Lovely. And another Squeeze song, which is a favourite of mine, on traditional black vinyl, well worth checking out if you don't know it, is That Love from their East Side Story album from 1981. Great song. Recommend that one very, 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 very much. Okay, gonna move on. Just two more, and then I'll sign off. Now, this is a band that I do like. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I do like them. I've got their singles album. I haven't got the studio albums. I've got their greatest hits album, and got this one. This is Travis. Their single called Selfish Gene. This came out as a 2 vinyl package. One of which is on coloured vinyl. One is on traditional. It's on red. One is black. One is red. And the reason why I got this, and this is going back to the band that I've just covered, and that's Squeeze. They obviously enjoy the Squeeze and the songs of Difford and Tilbrook, and they do 2 great covers of 2 Squeeze songs, which are the B-sides for the 2 copies of Selfish Gene. Is That Love, which you've just seen, and Pulling Muscles from a Shell. So there you go. So as you can see, if you can see that, there you go. And they are very, very good covers of them. Really, really good. Fran Healy, who's the lead vocalist, does a great job of those. And they produce them as per the originals. Really, they recreate the Squeeze songs, and they do them well. So they are. If they are on YouTube, then do check them out. And last but not least, last but not least, and again, I thank you for staying with me. I hope you stayed with me. This is, I think, this is my prized possession in my singles collection. I found this in a charity shop. I can't remember how much it was. It was a few quid for it. This is the Scottish, the Glaswegian band Deacon Blue, and one of my favourite songs of theirs, Fergus Sings the Blues, from the When the World Knows Your Name album from 1989. Now, this is a box. This is an actual box singles package of Fergus Sings the Blues, a limited edition. And this, I don't know who had this originally or how this person got everybody's signatures on it, but you have here the signatures by the members of the band. They all signed this boxed limited edition of the Fergus Sings the Blues single. Ewan Vernal, the bass player, Ricky Ross, the lead singer, Lorraine McIntosh, the other lead vocalist in the band, James Prime, keyboard player, the late Graham Kelling, the guitarist, and the drummer Doug Vipon. They're not printed on. I don't know if you can clearly see, you may not be able to tell by this, but they're all genuine handwritten signatures. So whether this was at a gig or what, I have no idea. But there it is. The song itself is absolutely brilliant. Please do check it out if you don't know it. But here we go, just very quickly. This is the actual, I'm going to take it out of the box. So it's not just the single that's in the box. This is the actual single itself. That's it. Fergus Sings the Blues. But in there comes a special lyrics sheet of the song. That's there, and some photos of the group members: Ricky Ross, the lead singer, Lorraine McIntosh, who's also Ricky's wife, later married Ricky, James Prime, the keyboard player, Doug Vipond, the drummer, the late Graham Kelling on guitar. He passed away at the turn of the century, very, very sadly, died of cancer, very, 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 very sadly. And Ewan Vernal, the bass player, the original bass player. Apart from Ewan and Graham, the rest of the band are still together, as far as I'm aware. Their new album is coming out soon, City of Love. Their two singles from that album have been doing really, really well. Get a lot of airplay on radio too. City of Love and Hit Me Where It Hurts, I think, is the new single. So they're still going strong, which is fantastic. Well, guys, that's it. Thank you for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed those. Tell me what your favourites are. What's in your collection? And what singles have you enjoyed over the years? What was your first single? What was the first single you ever bought? I'd be interested to learn that from you. So please do get in touch and let me know what you've got in your collection and which are your favourites. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for being with me. I did say in my first video that not only do I do music stuff, I do film reviews too. And I've checked out a movie just the other night for the first time, so I'm going to do a review of that next time, and you'll find out what that is very, very soon. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Take care for now. Bye bye.